Olá, eu sou Alessandra Lippel e esse é o canal Limão ou Limonada, uma visão positiva para crescer e vencer em tempos desafiadores. E hoje é um episódio especial. Primeiro, pelo lugar que a gente está, eu estou aqui em Fort Lauderdale, no sul da Flórida, nos Estados Unidos, no Access Space, que é um coworking. O que é um coworking? É um espaço, é o escritório do futuro. É um lugar onde você vem, se conecta com outras pessoas, você paga lá um valor por mês ou por dia, se você quiser, tem acesso a todo o escritório. Nós vamos falar bastante sobre isso depois. E também porque hoje é o primeiro episódio entrevista. A gente vai entrevistar o Steven Alig, que é um empresário aqui de Miami. E ele tem uma empresa de marketing para a internet, ele faz desenvolvimento de sites e outras ações ligadas à tecnologia. E a gente vai conversar um pouquinho com ele. Hi, how are you? Fine, good,
Excellent.
ready? Yeah, ok. E a gente vai fazer algumas perguntas para ele sobre a tecnologia, sobre a internet nos próximos anos, assim como um brasileiro, né, como os brasileiros podem fazer negócios aqui nos Estados Unidos. Então vamos lá. As a web developer and a businessman, how do you visualize the internet in the next 10 years? What's the next revolution?
It's hard to say in 10 years where the internet's going to be, but I like to think of Elon Musk from PayPal, Tesla, and SpaceX fame. He was quoted in 2012 and stated that the internet was like a central nervous system for humanity. Prior to the internet, we connected with whomever we ran into, like cells in diffusion. Whoever we connected with immediately. The internet has brought us all together so that we can actually now communicate with anybody and everybody. In the next 10 years, the framework has been laid and it's not going to change. The internet was created on desktops and we connected that way. We've seen now the move to mobile, and we're now connected through mobile devices. We're now starting to see wearables. We're starting to see watches and bracelets and other devices. And as that progresses, we're going to see more of that. We're going to see more items inside our bodies, not augmented realities, but augmented devices. Things like a lens in your eye. You won't necessarily be wearing a Google Glass and getting your heads-up display through a device that you're wearing. It's actually going to be implanted within your body. All devices will be connected to the internet in the next 10 years.
We talk a little bit about that payment things, that the next revolution, the end of the credit cards and then Bitcoins. Talk a little bit about this.
Mobile payments,
Yes.
Currency. It's hard to say where currency is actually going to go, but there will be a digital currency that will emerge from the beginnings of what was Bitcoin to what's going to be the future, where we are not constrained to a specific country that is controlling the actual currency. It will be something digital, and it'll be interesting to see how that actually pans out.
Okay. What do people need to keep in mind when they are hiring a web development or a digital marketing company?
Well, like hiring any contractor, you want to make sure that you do your research. You want to make sure that you know and can compare. Don't just go with the first person that you speak to. But you have to understand what goals you want to achieve. Why are you hiring this company? And a lot of times with the web development and design, it's difficult for people to understand what they're actually getting or what they need. So you need to understand your goals and then what the deliverables will be, what you're going to be getting from the company. Once you understand that and know that, you can then compare, as we say, apples to apples. You can compare 2 or 3 contractors and see, okay, they're offering this, someone else is offering that same thing, different price. There's always going to be subtle differences, sometimes large differences, but experience does matter as well. You want someone that's been in the industry for a while. When the web emerged, it was kind of like the Wild West.
Yes.
And the kids were the ones that got in on it quickly, so they were the ones that were looked at as experts. Now, 15, 20 years later, we have solid, experienced professionals in the industry that are knowledgeable of business and the technology that's there.
All right. We are living in a serious economic crisis in Brazil today. And America went through a major crisis in 2009 as well. And what are the main 3 lessons from those tough times?
Well, lived and worked, we have worked through that Great Recession, as it was called. And one of the main takeaways was you need to be able to adapt to change. You need to be able to innovate and move quickly as things change. You can't continue doing business as you were in the past. You have to be ready to adapt to change. Second thing is to lower your costs. Try to find where you can cut your costs as a business, but not on marketing. You don't want to stop your marketing. Some of the best businesses have emerged during recessions, and it's because they continue to persevere. And finally, don't stop. You do not want to stop. You want to continue pushing forward. Procter & Gamble, one of the biggest consumer brands, in 1929 was struggling right after the Great Depression. And they thought about their products and said, you know, everyone's going to need soap. Everyone will need soap. And why don't we focus our efforts on soap and start thinking outside of what we were doing? And they started creating their own content based around their sales of soap. Hence the beginning of what are now called soap operas. They began advertising and telling stories about their soap products. That helped them push through the Depression times and emerge as the superpower that they are now.
Oh, incredible. Love it. Love it. And let me ask you another question. If you could summarize the 3 main things all American parents teach to their children from the early age about work and life.
Well, that's a difficult question. To try to summarize what everyone teaches themselves in America. America is such a diverse society that it's really difficult to say what everyone would do. We're literally a melting pot. I could tell you 3 things that I would teach my children, and I do teach my children. Number 1, you can be whatever you want. The opportunity is here. You just have to work at it. Number 2, get involved in your community. Volunteer. You can make a difference. You have the opportunities here to do that. And 3rd, work hard. There is no free lunch, as we say. Nothing comes for free. It comes from hard work.
Oh, perfect. I'm so related to that. Thank you. No one likes to lose in sports, in business, in life. As Americans, how do you deal mentally and emotionally with defeat?
We look at failure or defeat as an opportunity to do again, to try again, and to be successful. I like to use a quote from Michael Jordan, one of the National Basketball Association's greatest players of all time, who said that in his career, he's missed over 9,000 shots. He's lost almost 300 games, and 26 times he was trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed it. He succeeds because he's failed. He fails over and over and again until he does succeed.
It's not a shame. It's not you don't get embarrassed about this thing of defeat. You told me it's like a bad.
In some sectors, in the technology sector, sometimes doing a startup and not being successful at it can actually be shown as a badge of honor, that you have attempted something very difficult. And even though you didn't succeed, another startup will come around and want you on their team because you've gone through that effort and you've tried. You learn from your failures. You don't look at them as failure is not an individual, it's an event that happens.
And people doesn't judge people with defeat, you know?
No.
No, absolutely not.
No.
It's interesting, incredible. How would you define the American way of doing business in 3 points or more?
Well, in 3 points, I would say opportunity. Number one, we have all the opportunity in the world here. Number two is action. You have to take action. It's not going to fall in your lap. The opportunity's there, it's knocking. Opportunity knocks on your door, take your action, make your decision, and then perseverance. Continue with what you're doing. If you're going down the right path, continue down that path. If you need to make shifts and changes, make shifts and changes, but don't stop.
All right. What advice would you give to a Brazilian who wants to create business in the United States? What should and should never do?
Well, as I stated earlier, the opportunity is here. It's available. You need to seize that opportunity and work hard. Points that I've already said several times. But one thing that you should always do is know and understand the legal issues, the laws of the area that you want to do business in, and follow them. Don't try to skirt around them. Don't try shortcuts. It does take work. Make sure that your contracts are written, not necessarily because you don't trust who you're working with. You want to make sure you trust your partners, but your contracts should be written so that it's clarified what you're going to do and what they're going to do. So it's black and white and everyone knows. Also, good idea to retain an attorney, hire a lawyer. Even if you don't need one right now, just have someone readily available that you start to build a trust with.
Other advices like the being on time and that thing.
Right. Wanting to make sure that you stay true to your word. Your word means a lot. It means everything. And if you say you're going to be at a meeting at a certain time, you want to make sure that you show up at that time. Being prompt is important. Being on time is important.
Say if you call it.
Right. Follow up. Do what you say you're going to do. That's maybe one thing that's different from other cultures where it's more relaxed. Here, if you say you're going to be at a certain location at a certain time, show up 10 minutes early so that you avoid any delays in traffic. That's something that I make sure to do myself.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You also may want to look into chambers of commerce, local municipalities, the Brazilian American Chamber of Commerce. They all have programs, and the local areas, the governments, they want businesses there that are successful. They want to surround themselves with successful businesses because they help bring up the whole community and the economy.
E esse foi o episódio de hoje. Espero que vocês gostem. Se você gostou desse episódio, comente aqui embaixo, nos comentários, ou dê um like, ou ainda compartilhe com seus amigos. E eu queria agradecer demais a presença do Steven aqui com a gente hoje. Muito obrigada pela sua presença. E se você quiser dizer alguma coisa para os brasileiros, manda uma mensagem.
You're welcome here. Please come to the United States. We want your business. We want you to succeed.
Ok, muito obrigada. Um beijo. Vamos fazer muitas outras entrevistas como essa.
My pleasure.
Eu vou entrevistar o Steven Alig